WTIM.
Good morning. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show. It's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining us in this segment, we have Jody Heberling. And Jody is the co-president of the Christian County Historical Society. Jody, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Always good to have you here in studio today, and there's plenty to talk about. The first place we want to go is with the municipal band and your kind of just summer recap. How has the summer gone for you on the municipal band end and elsewise too?
You know, we had a wonderful summer this year. I think we only had one possible rain out, and it didn't get rained out afterward. You know, it was just had rain before. So it was kind of a sloppy night a little bit, but outside of that, we had a very good summer, had great attendance, and everybody really enjoyed the concerts.
Well, you had mentioned to me before that it's kind of a great spot for it with the shade that's available, and then you've also got some other options. How long again has the municipal band been out there?
I think this was their third year. They started late 2.5, so they've been out there 2.5 years.
2.5 years. And I know, you know, this kind of qualifies as summer, but like the Earth Day celebration and some other things. Did you have any other special events sprinkled in?
No. Well, we had some summer tours, like the YMCA came out, and we are open for tours of groups, be it youth, be it aged. We have a nice meeting room if you have a meeting you want to have, we'll work with you on that and then take a tour. So keep this in mind if you're looking for something to do someday.
Well, if you're happy with the summer, then I'm happy to hear that for you. And now we kind of get into, you mentioned like tours there. And we want to talk a little bit about those. Christian County Historical Society putting on some school tours. What does that look like? How do folks get a hold of you to do so?
We have a web page and we have an answering machine on the phone. So you call, and email's the best way in a lot of ways, because then we can get to you and you can get back to us at your convenience. We set up with docents for the buildings, and we usually split the groups up into 10 people or less. And we go through all the buildings and talk about what they are and what they were used for. And the fact that we have that courthouse that Abraham Lincoln practiced in is a big plus for our community.
Well, and so when they do come for, is it more of a period tour at that point then? Do folks kind of get in period clothing, or is that something that...
Most of our docents dress up in the older generational clothing, and we try to make it step back in time. Last year we had a real fun tour the week of Thanksgiving. One of the schools from up north came down, and the little kids were dressed like pilgrims. So it was really a cute tour, and they really enjoyed it. I think they were third graders.
Well, and to put them in that shoe and that in their shoes also, and then have folks that are in period pieces, I think that adds to it there as well.
It definitely puts some patina in it.
Yes, it does. And for the school tours, then I guess the other question for you would be, so you're taking kind of schools from all over the area. It's not just, they don't have to be here in Christian County.
No, we get Macon County, we get Shelby County. You know, the surrounding counties have come to visit. We're a good opportunity for homeschoolers. You know, they have a homeschool group. So, you know, if the group wants to come out and spend a day and step back in history, we're a great opportunity.
Do you do any like hands-on activities while they're out there, like butter churning or things like that?
Sometimes we have made some simple games out of string and buttons, and it kind of depends on what you want out of it. You know, we'll kind of form around what you're studying, depending on what time of year and what you're focusing on. You know, if you're focusing on Lincoln, we may spend more time in the courthouse. We also like to note that we have Lincoln's lifetime sitting out there, because we have the log cabin that he probably was born in, not actually born in that one, but a log cabin. We have this courthouse that he practiced in as a young lawyer. And then we have a house that was built in the 1860s, which was when he was president. So we kind of got his lifetime in one little location to take a tour and see how he might have lived.
I think that's cool though, that you kind of been to what they're hoping to get out of it too a little bit there as well. So like you said, if they're looking for Lincoln, then hey, we've got it right here. And then if not, then we'll come out as pilgrims and we'll show you a little bit about that too.
Right. If you want to be a pilgrim, we'll work with that and go with what, we need some input from you as to what you want.
And you mentioned the best way to kind of set that up is through email.
Yes, that is the easiest way, because then it's convenient for anybody to get to it.
Okay. That's a look at the school tours. Anything else, Jody, when it comes to those school tours that you want to make mention of?
We do not charge a fee for schools to come out. We will take a donation if they want to leave one, but we get funding from the United Way, and that's part of the reasoning we get funding from the United Way is that we don't charge the schools, and we are not a charged situation. It's by everything is by donation only. So you can tip us as you feel you got from us.
Well, good. And to know that there's no fee, though, that totally takes out a hurdle that a school district might have. If they're running low on funds, then all of a sudden that fun day of being at the Christian County Historical Society cannot happen. And to have no fee attached to it is perfect.
Yeah, all they have is to figure out the transportation, and we're so close and local that it shouldn't be a big problem.
I wouldn't think so. At least not too hefty of a problem. I mean,
Right.
A bus maybe and some gas, but at the end of the day, maybe a small donation too. Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
And you got the kids out. That's very cool. Well, I appreciate you throwing that piece in there as well. There's some other deals that we want to talk about coming up. This one's interesting to me. As on November 1st, the Persimmon Party. What exactly does that look like?
The persimmon party. Persimmon is a native fruit to the area. It's a tricky fruit. If you get it before it's ripe, it tastes like alum. It'll pucker you up and you won't ever want to taste another one. But if they're ripe, they're a real sweet apricot textured fruit that is very tasty, but they're very labor intense. So we look for volunteers in October. Usually a frost makes them start ripening. Last year they started ripening before the frost. I think it was just the season we had. But the trees are loaded with persimmon. Thanks to Glenn Push, we have a small grove of persimmon trees on the place, and we collect them and pulp them and freeze the pulp and then sell it at the persimmon party. Okay. We also have a persimmon baking contest where you can bake something with persimmon, and we have the most original. We have 3 or 4 different categories to enter, so that's always fun. And then we have a bake sale with persimmon products, and then we usually throw in some non-persimmon because some people just don't like persimmons.
So you get the frozen persimmon that you guys will be taking care of. You guys will be doing, because I've heard that it is a difficult process. And then you've got the baking contest, and then we've got the bake sale on top of it. Okay. So my question to you is, what kind of is that process? Because I've heard persimmons are just a tough deal. Is it a color that you're looking for before you're actually taking it off the tree? What's that kind of look like?
You don't want to pick them. You want them to, if you touch them, they come off in your hand, or you pick them up off the ground. We usually put tarps down to keep them out of the grass and make them easy to pick up. But you really are better off getting them once they've hit the ground, or if you touch them and they come off in your hand, you don't want to pull them off the tree. They are about the size of an apricot. They have about 6 to 8 seeds in the middle of them that are about like watermelon seeds. And you run them through a sieve. So you hand pulp them and push the fruit out and keep the seeds in. And then it's a process, It's a process,
yeah. And I've heard that, but persimmons just we don't really eat them regularly. It's not something that we really talk about very often. So I feel like it kind of goes unnoticed. And this is something that kind of gives them a little bit more notice. I feel like a lot of people don't realize it's a native item.
The farther south you get, the more people recognize them being wild and eatable. I've heard a lot of people talking about they go hunting and, they'd eat the fresh persimmons off the trees because you can stick the fruit in your mouth and spit the seeds out. So you pulp them that way if you want to eat them fresh.
So it's got the apricot taste, kind of fleshy a little bit in that way too. You guys have your own grove of trees. We're going to be selling the frozen pulps. We're going to have a persimmon bake sale and contest. So if I enter into the contest, am I also selling that item at the end of the day as well? Or does that not?
No, we give you a certificate and say you're first or second. I think we recognize first and second place. And there's a little bit of a monetary prize for doing it. And we've got one, you kind of create your own recipe with persimmon or adapt one that's already there.
Okay.
So
quick question for you. What is it like a typical way of putting out persimmon? Like, is it a pie? What's the typical way?
I think the most common use you'll find is a persimmon pudding.
Okay. That
was very popular on Thanksgiving or Christmas. So, there's people that come out and get the pulp knowing that that's what they're going to have. That's their treat of the year for Thanksgiving or Christmas. They make pretty good cookies. They are very similar, different flavor than pumpkin. Almost any recipe that you can use pumpkin in, you can substitute the persimmon and it gives it a different flavor. And but it's the same texture and feel, so you can substitute one out for the other. And so that's a good way to experiment and see what you like.
Sure. Okay. Well, I appreciate you filling it. A lot of these are personal questions, but I appreciate you filling us in on that. The Persimmon Party happening on November 1st at the Christian County Historical Society. That one is going to be a chance for you to show off your persimmon baking skills. And my goodness, apparently it's going to be also a bit of a sale contest and everything in between. Well, Jody, let's take ourselves a break. We're joined by Jody Heberling, co-president of the Christian County Historical Society, here on the WTIM Morning Show. We'll be back around with more in just one moment.
Your information station, WTIM.
When it comes to connecting with America's farmers and ranchers, nothing beats the authentic voice of Ag Radio. Farm broadcasters have been the voice of rural America since 1944, building trusted relationships with agricultural producers across generations. Today, the network of over 140 Ag radio stations reaches farmers and ranchers during their most productive hours when they're actively working their operations and making business decisions. What makes Ag Radio uniquely effective? Farmers listen to farm broadcasters for information that directly impacts their livelihood. When your message is delivered alongside crucial weather updates, market reports, and agricultural news, it receives the same attention and credibility. Farm Radio Connects offers agricultural advertisers targeted access to this engaged audience through professionals who understand both broadcasting and agriculture. According to the National Association of Farm Broadcasting, 78% of farmers consider information from farm broadcasters highly trustworthy. When you need to reach rural America effectively, choose the voices they already trust. Visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com and discover how Ag Radio can elevate your agricultural marketing strategy.
Join us for our 32nd annual Kimmer Village Charity Golf Classic, September 5th, 8 a.m. at Oak Terrace, Pana, with a shotgun start. This is Shawless Nagel, Executive Director at Kimmer Village, Inc. Come out and support our mission. We have great prizes, including raffle tickets for players and non-players for a whole hog, $500 gift card, Timmy's Tours, Cardinals tickets, and a Finley Marina boat rental. Register at kimmervillage.org/golf.
St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Over the years, it has meant the Gas House Gang, Stan the Man, Lou Brock, Bob Gibson, The Wizard, Big Mac, Yachty, Waino, and Pujols. All those names, and they provided so many memories. St. Louis Cardinals baseball, most importantly, has meant championship baseball. We'll be describing every play right here on the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Gray Bar.
Cardinal Baseball, heard on WTIM, your information station. The Big 870 across central Illinois, 96.1 FM in Christian County, 107.5 FM in Shelby County, and 107.9 in the Pana-Nokomis area. It's brought to you by Taylorville Community Eye Care, Sloan Implement, Rural Rentals, Specialized Hearing Solutions, and CNB Bank.
Cardinals baseball on 96.1 in Christian County, WTIM.
CNB Bank and Trust has been helping open doors for Central Illinois farmers since 1854. Find out why they're among Illinois' top ag lenders by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Bob Reddings of the Bob Reddings family of dealerships. See our huge inventory of about 2,000 vehicles by clicking on our ad at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first and landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining us in this segment, we've got Jody Heberling, co-president with the Christian County Historical Society. We just talked a little bit about their persimmon party and the school tours that they're offering as well, including a summer recap on the municipal band. The next thing we want to turn your attention to is on December 5th and 6th, Tidings of Comfort and Joy. Take me away from there. What do we got going on with that?
It is a sit-down, glass-plated meal. We usually have some music in the background, and it's just a way to kick off the holiday season and a nice evening out. And it's one of our bigger fundraisers of the year. It's a home-cooked meal. And then we usually go over in the Morrison house and enjoy either candies or cookies or some kind of dessert over there, and kind of leave the tables and go to the Morrison house and enjoy touring the bottom of it and stepping back in time.
And so meals then being served both nights, 5th and 6th?
Correct. It is a pre-advanced sales. So we'll have the tickets out the first part of November. And they're $25 a piece, and it's usually we have pork loin or cranberry chicken. Our menu has been very popular, so we haven't seen the need to change it. And people rave to come back and get it again because it's kind of a unique recipe that Jimmy Blakely created for the cranberry chicken, and the pork is just good old pork roast. So
hard to go wrong
right.
with a pork tenderloin, but the cranberry chicken does have a unique sound to it, taste-wise too.
Taste-wise too, it's very good. So good way to try out and kick off your holiday season is get you a ticket and come out and see us one of those days.
Sure thing. So then December 5th and 6th, serving cranberry chicken, pork tenderloin, $25. Those sales will start in November. And then it's a glass plate meal. We're going to take you through to the Morrison house. We're going to leave that open to you, and it's home cooked. So that sounds awfully nice to me. The cranberry chicken is sticking out. But Jody, I do want to give us a little bit of time here to make sure we can talk about needing some youth, needing some volunteers. What can you tell us there?
Well, we have countless opportunities for community service. If your organization is looking for community service, we can set you right up. We also have the facility that you could hold your meeting out there and maybe do some community service and kind of make it into multitasking with one excursion. So we need to get youth involved to keep the place going. And it's too good of an organization to not keep going in the county. So figuring out how to get younger people involved is a chore, because we have lost some of our best volunteers to health problems. So, we're hurting. We need some help and some volunteers, and hopefully we can find some youth organizations that would be willing to link up with us and do their community service and have a good evening. We've done such things as a museum tour, scavenger hunt at night in the dark. That was very fun. We do those. So there's some opportunities to get youth involved if you've got a youth organization looking for something to do.
Well, Jody, thank you for your time here today.
Thank you.
You got it. Jody Heberling, co-president of the Christian County Historical Society here on WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5 FM Shelbyville. 107.9 FM Pena-Nokomis.
Christian psychologist Dr. James Dobson has died. A longtime champion of traditional family values,